Am I wrong for refusing to give my daughter my kidney because she said she doesn't care if I'm scared? My 38 female daughter, 21 female, is suffering from kidney failure. We have been estranged for 3 years, and it was due mainly to the fact that she was taking her health issues as well as her fights with her dad, 38 male, and stepmom, 31 female, out on me. I spent hundreds of my husband, Ethan, 49 male, and I's money on making therapy for my daughter, but she has remained bitter and difficult. Ethan and I have 2 kids, 9 male and 11 male. I had to give up quite a bit in terms of career prospects due to my first pregnancy. My parents also disowned me, but then Ethan helped me get a degree in accounting and also a real estate license. I have connections from Ethan that are helping me do nearly 6 figures in real estate commissions, and I just joined an accounting firm that hired me based on the client connections I have from Ethan. Now I am working 50-hour weeks but love it because I'm finally earning 6 figures, and Ethan's business is also at a place where he can work at home. My daughter at this point was mostly low contact since she turned 18, but now she's back because she needs a kidney. I made the mistake of letting friends know about her situation, and everybody I know from my mommy groups from when my daughter was born started dogpiling on me saying, "You gotta do this, mama," and like I'd be held down to get my kidney. Because of this pressure, despite Ethan saying no, I went to the doctor and found out I was a match. I tried to reach out to my daughter's dad to see if he's a match, but her stepmom had apparently already called her screaming that her dad was the provider for her and 3 kids, so how dare she ask this of a father. My ex said that his duty was obviously to his wife and minor kids, so no testing for him. And so he and everybody else just wanted to be my kidney. I tried to communicate to my daughter that I'm afraid of surgery. I was too new to take that much time from work, so I'd likely be working while in pain. She replied asking, "Doesn't Ethan make a lot of money?" I told her again how risky surgery was, and she said, echoing my friends, "I don't care, this isn't about you." I was so furious from that conversation that when I went to see the doctor and the doctor asked if somebody was coercing me, I told them that at this point I'd rather die than continue to serve my ungrateful, rude daughter. I said I indeed felt coerced and that if I did it, I'd probably have burning resentment towards the recipient and the doctors if I woke up in pain. The doctor immediately said I am therefore not a compatible donor and that I should never feel like I'm a prisoner. I told my friends and Ethan this, and while Ethan just asked if I was okay and that the boys and him need me, my friends were furious and tried to shame me online with, "What kind of mother posts?" They're insisting I go back and say I was lying and I've changed my mind, to sign something showing I wasn't coerced and get it notarized if it's what it takes. My stepdaughter accused me of SA. She lied about it, and my wife just wants me to forgive her and move on. I, 45 male, and wife, 45 female, met 4 years ago and got married last year. When I first met Vanessa, she was a single parent. We met through mutual friends. She told me she had a daughter, Emily. I was fine with that. But meeting Emily was a different story. She made it clear she didn't like me, which was understandable. She was a moody teenager who was used to having Vanessa to herself. I didn't push a relationship between me and Emily when me and Vanessa started getting serious. Having a step-parent myself, I understand it's important to not force the relationship. I gave her a choice like my stepmother did for me. I made it clear that whether she liked me or not, I would be there for her if she needed me to be. It didn't happen overnight, but she slowly started warming up to me. But she reverted back to being distant again when we announced we were engaged, and she was completely cold towards us when we asked if she wanted to help with planning the wedding. She heard us when she said she wouldn't be coming. We tried talking to her and suggesting therapy. She refused both suggestions. We had to respect her decision. She went low contact with us after we got married and moved in with an aunt. As much as it hurt, we decided it was her choice. 2 weeks ago, my wife came home crying and screaming at me about me sexually assaulting Emily. I was taken off guard, shocked and confused. She told me Emily said I had been SAing her when she wasn't home and that's why she moved out. The police came and I was arrested. The whole neighborhood saw me get taken. It wasn't a nice experience. Long story short, Emily's story didn't line up to the times I was meant to have been home with her and I couldn't actually confirm where I was. She told the truth and said she only said that because she was mad at me and Vanessa for getting married. I live in a small community and word travels fast and something like SA is heavily frowned upon. My wife came home and she apologized. She said she was protecting Emily and wasn't thinking straight that day. I understand her protecting Emily, but what I didn't understand was her jumping the gun and not giving me a chance to prove myself innocent. She asked me to forgive Emily, but I told her I needed to get away for a bit. She cried some more, but I just couldn't comfort her. I just packed a couple of bags and came to stay with a cousin. I've been here since then, and my wife and Emily have tried to ring and call me, but I won't answer. I know I eventually have to face them, but right now I can't. I don't know how to cope with all of this. Maybe someone can help with some suggestions? Police were called because of leaves? That's gonna cost ya. My friend keeps a very clean yard. In the fall, he likes to get all of the leaves before it rains and they become a pain to pull up. His neighbor doesn't care about his yard as he has owned the house for a few years and still has not moved in. He lives a few states away. As my friend was finishing up sucking the leaves in his machine, some of them blew into the neighbor's driveway, maybe 20 leaves total. My friend finished up and went inside. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the door and a squad car outside. The officer said they received a complaint about leaves being blown into the driveway. The neighbor had been watching on his doorbell cam and decided this transgression warranted police intervention. You could tell the officer was visibly annoyed as my friend asked the officer to look at his yard and then his neighbor's. The pettiness. The neighbor had an old car shipped and dropped in the driveway about 8 months ago where it has sat ever since. Remember, he still lives a few states away. While my friend told the officer he would clean the leaves promptly, he asked the officer if he could do him a favor. Check the car for proper tags. The officer saw the car in question and gave a slight smile. While my friend cleaned the leaves out of the driveway, the officers were walking around the car looking at the VIN and running information. You could hear the neighbor on his doorbell asking what the problem was. There is a law that any car that is in the driveway must have tags and insurance on them. The police gave him a call and told him his car was in violation and he either needed to put the car in the garage, which would need to be lifted and dropped in the garage, or get the registration, insurance, and an e-check on the car that can't be driven taken care of within 2 weeks, or they'll be back to tow the car and ticket him. Dude cost himself a 10-hour car ride to get his car lifted and stuffed in the garage all over a few dead leaves.
My ex-wife keeps asking me to be part of her kid's life but won't compensate me for my contributions. How can I get her to stop? She's 29 and I'm 32. My ex-wife and I split last June. The court battle was messy and she ended up taking full custody of our 2 kids. The whole ordeal was getting very drawn out and ridiculous, so I ended up giving her what she wanted. A couple months later, she's blowing up my phone demanding that I still continue to be part of her kids' lives. I told her that since she wanted full custody, she can deal with raising them herself. But the fact that she keeps trying to manipulate me to pull her weight when she legally has full custody feels like a slap in the face. After numerous texts, calls, and even emails, I blocked her on everything. She ended up driving an hour plus to my mother's house to beg her to get me to spend time with the kids, saying stuff like since the kids are young, they need the influence of both parents in their lives. If only she thought about that before getting full custody. She keeps saying that I won't have to contribute financially, which isn't the problem because we both have well-paying jobs, but that she wants me to take them out to eat or something or visit. Like that would even make a difference. It's still work to drive all the way out there to mess around with stuff that isn't even my responsibility anymore. I told her over a phone call that if she wants me to expend that much effort and time when I'm already busy, then she needs to compensate me financially. Like I said, the money isn't the issue here. I just feel like if I'm going to have to play the role of father when I don't even have partial custody, then I shouldn't be doing it for free. It's not my job anymore. That much she's made clear. I'm getting so tired of all the mess and the constant harassment via phone call and text. I just want her to leave me alone. I think she's seriously having trouble living with her decisions. How can I resolve the situation? Legally, it should be resolved, but how can I stop her from trying to manipulate me? Am I in the wrong for not tipping a waitress and giving her a reason as to why? I, male 48, was at a restaurant yesterday with a few of my friends. We usually go out and it all goes well. We always pay separately and it's important to know that I always tip in usual cases, this not being one. So the beginning goes fairly well. The hostess takes us to our seats and the waitress comes out shortly after. We usually always joke around with the waitresses, so when she asks me if I would like something with my drink, I say, I suppose you aren't on the menu, so I'll just have my crab cakes unfortunately. She didn't laugh at my joke though. I found this to show her lack of both service but also interest and attention to the guests she works to serve. Other waitresses usually laugh or joke about, but I decided to let it slide. The second thing that led up to a no tip was that it took a long time for her to bring out the food, which to me yet again shows her lack of service and attention. The third was that we already had time to finish our appetizer before she came back to check on us. Had something been wrong with our food, she would not have known. The fourth thing was that she served my friend a medium steak, though he asked for medium rare. The fifth was that she forgot about my drink order and I had to remind her. She did not notice by herself. The sixth was that almost every time me or one of my friends tried to joke with her, she didn't laugh. She did not smile. She just looked like we disgusted her. The experience was not all nice, and I fully believe it was due to the service we had. All of my friends and me agreed that no one would tip her due to how we felt both forgotten about, mistreated, and overall service. When we were paying, I told her that I assumed that she would realize, but I would like to explain to her why we decided not to tip her. I told her almost everything and explained that we all usually leave good tips so that she knows she missed out. She just stares at me and told me, "Okay, have a nice rest of your evening, sweetheart." This ticked me off, but we all decided to leave. When I told my wife and her daughter about this today, they both asked me what was wrong with me. Not only did I not tip her and explain, but also for how me and my friends had treated her. I asked her what was wrong with our treatment as no other waitress ever found something wrong with it. They told me that I should really think about it all again, and that if I can't find anything wrong with it, to think harder. I'm at a loss for words as the only people to even think I did something wrong are my wife and her daughter. All my friends fully believe that we were in the right here. Was it really that wrong of me not to tip and explain why? If I do something inappropriate or wrong that affects my work or customer satisfaction, I would like to know. That's something that I think should go for waitresses too. Am I in the wrong for telling my roommate's girlfriend that she needs to manage her own period? I, 29 male, live in a house with 2 guys and a girl. The girl, 22 female, and one of the guys, 30 male, are dating. I moved in the same week as her. I have a great Pyrenees who is well trained, except for the fact that he goes to the trash when nobody's home. I paid to buy a door that we installed in the kitchen, and now the last person to leave the house just has to close the door. Fortunately, my dog has no interest in the bathroom garbage, or so we thought. A few weeks into living together, I came home one day and there were torn up used tampons spread all over the bathroom floor. The girl was at work, so I told her boyfriend and we both agreed that the dog had probably gone through the trash. He cleaned it up and said he'd ask her to do a better job or wrapping them in toilet paper when she threw them away or something. The next day, it happened again. When everybody was home, the girlfriend called everybody into the living room and asked if we could make it a default just to keep the bathroom door closed so that this didn't happen. The other guys agreed, but I told her that it was unfair of us to have to manage her period for her. She told me that my dog was the one making the mess, but I told her that if it wasn't for her leaving her blood in the trash, my dog wouldn't be interested in it at all. She said that us having to close the bathroom door wasn't any more of a burden than closing the kitchen door. But I told her that's different because all of us throw food in the kitchen garbage, but she was the only one throwing blood in the bathroom garbage. One time, I woke up to a mess, and when I told her to clean it up, she said it wasn't even hers because she wasn't on her period. It turned out that my girlfriend was on hers and it was her tampon, so I cleaned it up myself. I'm not sexist. I'll clean things up when they're my responsibility, but I don't think it's fair for me to be inconvenienced by a girl that I'm not even dating. Since the meeting, this has become less frequent of an issue because her and the guys close the bathroom door, but I still forget a lot of the time. If she sees the door open, she closes it but gets really huffy about it. It still happens occasionally, and when it does, she cleans it up, but she works and doesn't get home till late. Yesterday was another incident of me coming home to a dirty bathroom. I work PM and come home in the AM. She was still sleeping, so I went and blew up on her. I probably shouldn't have yelled, but I stand by my right to not be exposed to her biomatter. Last night, me and the other roommate could hear her crying and telling her boyfriend that she wanted them to move because she hates living with me. I thought she was being dramatic, but our other roommate told me that I'm being a D and that it's not hard to just keep the door closed. I just seriously don't think it's my fault to manage some random girl's period for her. So, am I in the wrong?